Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Marshall here at Garage Time TV, and today we are jumping back on our 1974 Volkswagen Subaru Swap conversion project bus. It's a mouthful. Anyway, we're jumping back on the bus, but we're going to be working from the bench because today we're going to be working on our quarter wing windows that go in the front doors. I've already done the passenger side, so I figured I'd tag you along and do the driver's side. Now this is our driver's side vent window, and you can see why we're replacing it. Not only because the little tiny rivets have rusted away to oblivion, the rest of it isn't looking so good either. The rubber is all cracked and worn out, and the rubber on the back that's supposed to catch it is hard as a rock. But the glass is in good shape, the shaft that comes out the bottom is in good shape, and it appears that everything else seems to be okay. So we've actually got a new frame that we ordered online, and it is out there in the sun baking because we treated it and we sprayed it with some fresh black paint. So we're going to disassemble this one, clean up the glass, and by the time that that's all done, our other piece should be good to go and we can start the reassembly process. We have all new rubber for this, all from West Coast Metric. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description down below where you can get yours, but this is that part where the glass rests against, and this is the main surround vent. And again, this is from West Coast Metric. Great quality rubber for our windows. We are resealing the entire bus. We are not messing around with water and rust. So enough talking, let's disassemble this one so we can start the reassembly on the new one. First things first is it's already broken, which is very sad, but it is original glass, so I want to make sure we save it. So this is going to be a 10mm bolt here at the bottom. Gonna crack that and loosen this up. It's just like a tensioner, so this is a good way to, when the window opens and closes, you can apply more tension on it. It'll make it tighter to turn and should hold more. So like if the wind is constantly shutting your window closed, and maybe this nut has backed out. It originally came with some Loctite on it, and this little bracket comes out the back, and it should come all out together. Turn this, that's working. All right, so on the back side we do have the rivet that attaches the glass to the frame. So we're gonna break out our drill bits here, crack out the drill, and I believe we are using a 3/32 drill bit. Very specific, yes I know, but it's what fits. So we're gonna be drilling out this rivet.
A few moments later.
Alright, so after much fighting, finally came out. That rivet ended up having to step up from our 3/32 to a 7/64 and then up to a 3/16, which ended up taking it all out. But the good news is our main stem here on the bottom is in good shape, and we were able to retain our little rivet anchor point. Just gotta get that out of there. But this is a really good time to clean it up. We're going to wire wheel the shaft. Then when we start reassembly, we're gonna put some lithium grease in there as well, so it'll be protected. You know, a little bit of paint probably wouldn't hurt either. But first things first, let's clean this up, get this little scrap out of here, and then bring in our new to us frame. So now we're ready for reassembly with our nice new West Coast Metric rubber. And of course, it is all nice, new, made in America rubber, and nicely labeled vent wing seal left. Front door original 68 to 79, which is right in our range. And we also have our other rubber piece here, the seals for the vent wing for Bug Sedan 65 to 77 and 68 to 79 Type 2. Also has for a Type 3. So this is obviously used across multiple years, but first things first is we're going to install the long skinny one. And you can see on here that there's kind of like this D shape, triangle shape, whatever you want to call it. And there are these two little tabs on the outside. Those two little tabs are what's going to sit on the inside of this groove here. There's a little lip here, and there's also a lip here. And that's where it's going to sit. Now we want to be careful about the orientation since there's a more flat side versus a rounded side. So the way that the window opens and closes depends on where this seal is going to sit. So in our window here, it's on our driver's door, we know that it opens this way. So it's going to close on this side of the vent. So the flat side needs to be here, like this. So what we're going to do is keep it on this side, dust off some of those shavings, and we are going to tuck it in this edge. You might need a small flathead screwdriver to lightly tuck it in, but it will fit in there the whole length, top to bottom. So we've got that rubber piece in, looks nice and clean. Of course, a perfect fit, top to bottom, no gaps whatsoever, no trimming to fit or anything like that. It comes out of the packaging ready to be installed. So, again, thank you West Coast Metric for making this job so much easier, is the big rubber piece. Now you can see there's some orientation to the outside rubber to where the glass sits. So, it's going to sit like this on there. Now we will have to make a cut provision in the rubber right here where this little indentation is. You can see that indentation there. We're gonna have to make a cut there for our rivet bracket to go through, but I want it to be super thin, so the tighter the fit, the better. That way we keep moisture out of the inside of this track. Now the inside of this has some layers. So there's two main tracks, which are gonna fit inside the tracks of the frame. And we've got our outsides, and those are going to hang off the each side, on the outside and on the inside. And you can see you got the hole provisions for the mast of our glass, the shaft that comes out, that is there. We come around, all the way up to the top, all the way around. So the only modification we have to do to this is a small slit for the rivet bracket here. So I'm going to start on the bottom, tucking this in, like that, and working my ray all the way around. So our rubber is finally installed. We can see it's seated all the way around the edge here. This one in the back is all seated as well, nice and tight. All of it is pressed in. Now I use a flathead, a small one, but all I was doing was rolling it. I was rolling it and it wasn't stabbing. If you stab, you're gonna punch holes in it and they're gonna have leaks. So all I did was roll the rubber into it along the edge because it's a super nice tight fit. So the next thing is gonna be the glass, the fun part. So this is where it's going to go in. We have to stab this in first. So what I'm going to want to do is I have just some white lithium grease. It's going to get everywhere, but it works. Oh, actually not so bad. Put a little bit on the shaft of the, that's what I thought was going to happen. Anyway, put some on the shaft of it, and what we're going to do is feed it through the hole that's already in the rubber down into here. And then we got to make sure that we line up our rivet holes as well, because the rivet that's on the frame goes underneath the rivet that is on the frame itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to attach the little bracket on the bottom, just loosely. I don't want a whole lot of tension on it right now. I just want to be able to hold it in place while we get ready to put the rivet in. Last thing on the list is to add the rivet. Now this is just kind of a regular off-the-shelf rivet. There are like different kinds that you can put here. But one thing I do want to note is there's like this little washer that was on the old one, so I retained it. It's like a plasticky, not really plastic kind of material. It's like a, I don't know, it's not metal, it's not plastic, it's just a washer. And we're gonna be using a regular rivet. So the key is, we're gonna put the rivet through the top, have the washer on, then get the frame to line up with all of this together, and then we can run the rivet down. Alright, our new rivet is in, and we can turn it nice and easy. So the next thing is going to be tightening down this bolt just a little bit. Before we do that, let's do a quick test. Looks like we seal up okay. There is a little gap here. I think that's just a bend in this frame, so we can probably bend that back straight, but otherwise everything is nice and tight on the outside. That's really what matters. So I'm going to lock this down. Oh, there we go. Once you lock it down, it seals it all the way up. That nice flat edge takes in all of that gap. It's so pliable, it takes up some of that. Now we'll take our 10, tighten this down just a little bit at a time. Pop this out. That lithium grease is really doing us a favor. There we go, now I can feel it. Oh yeah, now it's more rigid. So now when it's open and the wind hits it, it's not just gonna fall back in. Be able to still close it, latch it, just like that. Nice and sealed. Again, probably needs a little bit of work. It is, 40-year-old metal. It's probably a little kick in right here. You can see where it's probably been pried on before. Little tap in here on the bench, and that should help seal that up. Looks like it's a little S here a little bit, so we'll straighten that out. But the most important part is that it seals and it's all in there nice and complete, ready to go back in the bus. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this episode. It's a pretty easy DIY, straightforward process. The toughest part is probably getting that out of the door of the bus to begin with, but luckily since we're building ours, it's already easily accessible and out. It was a great time to change those gaskets. Huge shout out and thank you, as I try and say shout out and thank you at the same time, to West Coast Metric for providing such great, awesome new rubber gaskets for our bus. There's a lot more where this came from, so make sure you guys stay tuned, make sure you are subscribed, and hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss out on that content. Also, make sure you guys check out our merchandise website. I'll put a link here on the screen and another one down in the description down below. We've got shirts and hats and bags and women's and men's and all sorts of sizes and colors. There's a huge selection and variety, and there's always new designs coming out your way all the time, so make sure you guys are staying up to date with that as well. Make sure you guys follow me on social media. Instagram and Facebook are the big ones, so you can see some behind the scenes pictures and stuff like that. But also look into joining our membership levels. We have 3 different membership levels to join the channel to get exclusive content where members only get access. So little stuff like this might be on there, or even bigger stuff that doesn't always make it on the channel. Stuff when we go out to junkyards, all sorts of good stuff like that. So make sure you guys check out those membership options as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. That always helps us out, helps us grow the channel so we can keep bringing you free content here on YouTube. And until next time, we'll see ya.